interest of every citizen. Every citizen go from the infant, even those ones that are generation that are yet unborn, and that is why in this area statistics is very very important. But it's most unfortunate that we have a system that's premiseless on statistics. When you don't have enough data gathering ability, definitely forecasting for ready development will be very, very difficult. And this is another area that our government should critically look at as a way of information gathering, data collection. Some of these things, when they are even collated and collected, is sometimes they are thrown into the dustbin. Most of them don't always look at this as a way of needed instrument inside the store to prepare the budget. The budget sometimes it is a way of recycling activities that have been mentioned over past years. Sometimes it was mentioned that some of these projects that are in the budget comes reoccurring for well over numbers of years. That means the drivers too, they must look at the budget, the documentation of the budget, using data and collection as a way of forming the basis of the budget. And not only that, it must be used to forecast achievable objectives as is intended by the budget for a particular year. Listeners, the studio line still remains 0055511110, 070687718822. I guess people are busy celebrating the Christmas, but don't forget, Christmas will come and it will go, and we'll be left with the reality of what comes from the government. And that is why it is important that this edition of the program is we are now looking at the 2025 budget in retrospect as a way of reaching terms, reaching a compromise between us and the government as a way of forging a kind of reaching a kind of a convergent point wherein we can agree on an achievable and implementable budget. Listeners, let's go on this interlude, and after this, we'll be back. Listeners, you are still on your dialing station, the Glow 99.1 FM Ijapu Akure. This is the Christmas edition of the Political Hangout, where we are looking at the 2025 budget in retrospect as a way of analyzing the financial documents of that is prepared by the federal government to the people. Don't forget, the budget is a deed of agreement between the government and the people, and it's having a deed of agreement is definitely something that it becomes sacrosanct, and where the implementation definitely is irreversible. It is something that is governed by integrity, and the moment there is a compromise, the moment there is a fallout, definitely. Don't forget, in this context, we are looking at human beings. And the moment there is a fallout, so a compromise on the part of the drivers and the people responsible for implementing the budget, definitely the shortfall will definitely have a direct impact on the life of the people. And that is why it is very, very important that the government should not just toy with the issue of the budget as in its implementation, full implementation this time around. It must not be relegated to the background. And we've been able to rightly bring to bear some of those things that were noticed as that has constituted a clog in the wheel of right implementation of the budget. It is mentioned that not having prompt release of funds for capital allocation has been a bane in the execution of the budget, especially when we have some cities said that well over some 70% of the capital project for this year, some of them are about 70% have not been met, and we have now the rollout. A rollover of the 2025 budget now to the next year, to the year 2026. This in itself too must be improved upon, so that we will not continue to have a catalog of misplaced priority, a catalog of misplaced priority. So also we will not continue to have accumulated projects that needs attention, but that they are not well attended to. It is mentioned that the budget has not rightly addressed the issue of employment.
That's my phone.
That's
mommy's phone.
Unemployed youth outside there waiting for attention. And don't forget that it is only in an environment of relative peace that economic growth can be achieved. And don't forget, an idle hand is the devil workshop. So some like a way of recommendation, social security must be put in place to guarantee and cater for the well-being of these teeming individuals that are unemployed. As a way of ameliorating their situation, as a way of putting up a kind of some things in their courses, so that they give them the kind of improved self-esteem, so that they look out as whole and be able to look out to the federal government with full responsibility. That definitely their interest is being met rightly. Then it is expected too that the social security must be set aside for the aged. It is most unfortunate that it is in this plan that the aged one has considered not being productive. They are definitely their reference points. They are good reference points of the reservoir for knowledge, wherein it can be recycled. They can be recycled for economic growth. They can be recycled for right development, and that is why it is important that the federal government in itself too, in preparing, must put the well-being and the welfare of the aged and the unemployed world into utmost it must be given utmost priority, and it must be put on the first burner as a way of meeting their needs, though it was not met rightly in this year budget. But such can be met in this area the budget proposal for the year 2026, that is before the National Assembly. And it was mentioned too that the large chunk of the budget, of the revenue were given to debt servicing, limiting the ability of the government to achieve much in the area of budget capital projects. Then the issue of social services like health and education were less prioritized. This calling for attention in further delivery, especially in the 2026 budget, though it's before the National Assembly, but it can still be improved on. The government has the wherewithal to recommend a way of supplementary budgets when the need arises. And listeners, don't forget, we are looking at the 2025 budget in retrospect and been able to rightly put up some of the pitfalls that were recorded, that was noticed in the 2025 budget, and the way, and especially where the need to shore up the revenue base of the federal government, looking beyond the crude oil as the only revenue base for the country. Then to the issue of economic diversification, especially in the non-air sector like agriculture, the solid minerals exploration, so that we will be able to achieve the Eldorado that we all hope for in our country. Definitely the Nigeria project is a project in the making, and that's why we can't give up. We can't give up. Nigeria is just like a shape that is desirable, achievable, and such that is tenable in the committee of sisters countries. And that is why we must continue to pray for Nigeria, especially on the day like this that we are all celebrating Christmas. Don't forget the essence of Christmas is to show of love. Show love to your neighbor, show love to one another. Let love continue to be the decimal that governs our existence towards peaceful coexistence among us, amongst tribes, amongst relatives, among family. It is only when we have a conducive environment that Nigeria of our dream is achievable. And listeners, on this note, we want to call it a wrap on this year edition of this last edition of the Political Hangout for the year. We want to appreciate our esteemed listeners who has always seen the need for us. Yes, we have this, the caller. You can call again as a way of just wrapping up this edition of the program. Hello.
Oh, Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas to you, sir.
Comrade Adeus is speaking from Abishoro, correct?
It's a pleasure having you, sir. Merry Christmas.
My overview of the budget implementation in Nigeria for the past 10 years is that we don't have budget discipline.
Okay.
There's no discipline.
Okay.
We just surveyed after reading all these trillion. At least the implementation is below average.
Okay.
What is the essence of that budget? It's full of corruption.
Okay.
Later on, they will not even return the money back to the post. Where will the money they went into? All those money that were not utilized. Look at Ado Akure Road up to today, and they keep on budgeting money for the completion of that road. Nothing. It's full of fraud, no discipline. I don't know. I just continue to pray that God to revive Nigeria and intervene in the government.
Amen.
So that we have people that are godly that will be our leaders to this country.
We appreciate you. Thank you, Mr. Comrade Adeus, for being with us. And if you didn't know, we want to call it a wrap for the year of Political Hangout. Hoping by God's way that next year will be a better time. We appreciate our esteemed listeners who have always committed their time and resources towards making it a date with us on each edition of the program. And on this note, we want to appreciate the executive producer of the program, Ezekiel Akonde, and the producer, Mujisola Ladele. And ma'am, I remain your man, your most stewards on Political Hangout. I'm Olatubosun. Until next year, when I'll be here with yet another beautiful edition